Hello everyone and welcome to my recommendations for the Steam Summer Sale 2019. In this video we'll be looking at a wide variety of games and hopefully finding some bargains to suit every taste. Of course, we'll be keeping the usual structure of looking at games under £5 first, then moving on to games under £10, and finally games over £10. So, with all of the formalities out of the way, let's get into it with games under £5. And our first game of the day is Mad Max, a huge open world game where the star of the show is the cars. Driving around this post-apocalyptic open world, you'll find yourself engaging in vehicular combat, utilising upgrades that you can add to your car to make yourself ever more deadly, such as the side burners used to set enemies on fire, or the harpoon designed to pull them clean from their vehicles. Outside of the fantastic car combat, you'll also find a pretty solid brawler and hours upon hours of content, so for £3.99 or $4.99, Mad Max is well worth a look. Next up we have Overcooked, a party game that will test your teamwork as you and up to 3 others attempt to prepare and serve food to order as quickly and accurately as possible, and what sounds like an easy task can quickly become a nightmare, with players getting in each other's way, orders being missed, and fires starting all around you. There are so many unique levels too, which force players to think about their positioning and what task they should be completing and when. Of course the game can be played single player too, which is the footage you're seeing now, but for maximum enjoyment, get some friends or family over and test out your teamwork. Overcooked is on sale for £4.41 or $5.77. Moving on, we come to One Finger Death Punch 2, a game that is very simple in its design, but incredibly difficult to master. This kung fu brawler has only 2 buttons, allowing you to attack to your left or to your right. But with enemies pouring in at a frankly ludicrous rate, perfecting a level is not as easy as it sounds. Between the weapons, mid-level boss fights, and huge variety of animations, there's so much more to this game than initially meets the eye. One Finger Death Punch 2 takes from the original and improves on it significantly, and it's on sale for £3.47 or $4.79. Next we have Just Cause 3, a game which I've found myself recommending a lot over the past few years. It's a game that offers you potential for chaos and then gives you bombs and grappling hooks to make that chaos happen. Now, I know Just Cause 4 is out now, but honestly, it was a bit of a disappointment for me. And if you're looking for the Just Cause formula of a nearly indestructible main character, a fluid movement system, a gorgeous open world, and explosions galore, then for just £1.79 or $2.99, I feel that Just Cause 3 is the way to go. So then, from a massive AAA game to a much smaller experience, and the cheapest game on today's list, as we come to Balance City, a 2D city builder with a twist. You'll have to make sure you balance the weight of your city, as you'll be teetering on a rock ready to tip at any moment. A neat little gimmick that adds a layer of thought to how you design your city, and generally encourages a high level of symmetry. As for the other mechanics of the game, well, you'll be required to build residential blocks and offices and make sure that they're powered and that the people are happy, utilising trees to keep the city clean, and other buildings such as fire stations and hospitals are needed to take care of disasters in the town. It's not the most in-depth system, and it's a little bit thin on content overall, but for just 55p or 79 cents, you'll more than get your money's worth with this one. Oxenfree is next, and this story-driven game starts calmly enough with a group of teens off to have a party on an island, but it quickly turns more sinister as supernatural forces split them up and mess with their reality. With multiple endings and scenarios changing based on your decisions and dialogue with other characters that occurs naturally as you explore the world, there's a lot to like about Oxenfree. And while I don't want to say too much as this is a story-driven game, I personally found it incredibly engaging, and for just £3.75 or $5, if you're looking for something with a slower pace and interesting story, Oxenfree might be for you. Moving on and sticking with the story-driven games, we have Firewatch, a game set in a Wyoming forest where you play as Henry, a man trying to escape his personal issues back home, by coming out to the wilderness to be alone. And for the most part, you are alone, with only your supervisor Delilah on the other end of a walkie-talkie for company. And the relationship between these two characters is what the game centres on, as they share jokes, facts about their private lives, and make decisions together as strange things start to happen in the forest. And all of this is backed up by a stunning graphical style that makes exploring the wilderness a joy. Firewatch is on sale for £3.74 or $4.99. Next up we come to two games that I often recommend in the form of Deus Ex Human Revolution and Deus Ex Mankind Divided. And I've talked about these a lot in the past, so I'll keep it brief. But these two games offer you an RPG with multiple options on how you achieve your objectives. Sure, you can just go for a full-on assault, all guns blazing, but maybe stealth is a better option in some circumstances, or even just talking to characters to find compromise or another way to achieve your objectives. And each of these methods can be improved by the augmentations you pick. And these fantastic RPG mechanics are backed up by extremely interesting worlds in both games. And at just £1.94 or $2.99 for Human Revolution, and £2.99 or $4.49 for Mankind Divided, I feel these offers are just too good not to include on this list. On now to Behold the Kickmen, a football game with the football knowledge removed. This one takes a humorous look at the world of professional football, with a story full of funny cliches and a very loose grasp on the rules of the sport, taking jabs at every aspect of the game. The gameplay itself is simple but enjoyable and easy to get into quickly, and quirky alternative rules like scoring from outside the box counts for 2 gives you something extra to think about. For me though, the real fun in this game is in its humour, and if you're looking for something a bit different than your normal sports game, Behold the Kickmen might be worth a look, and it's on sale for just 83p or $1.19. And rounding off our first section, I've gone for a classic in Portal 2. This is one of the best puzzle games ever made, and still easily holds up today. The portal making mechanic makes for some extremely interesting puzzles, and with light bridges and momentum thrown in, you have an excellent game. To go alongside this superb single player experience, there's also a co-op mode that will test your teamwork and, in my experience, usually ends up with my more intelligent friend telling me what to do. Portal 2 is a steal at only 71p or 99 cents, and the Portal bundle, which includes the first game for only £1 and 6p, wouldn't be a bad choice either. On then to the under £10 category, and I want to start with Metal Gear Solid 5: The Definitive Experience. This is a package that contains not only the brilliant Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, with its emphasis on open world stealth gameplay, letting you do things your own way, building up your army and mother base along the way, but it also contains Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, a much smaller game that really should always have been sold as part of the Phantom Pain from the beginning. There's still a fair amount of fun to be had in Ground Zeroes, but if you're buying this bundle, it should really be for the Phantom Pain, which would easily be worth the £9.99 or $11.99 price tag on its own, and Ground Zeroes is just a nice little sweetener to the deal. Moving on, we come to an absolute gem that I've been playing fairly recently in Underhero. This 2D RPG has a charming art style and a great sense of humour, with a timing-based combat system that's like a good mix between real-time and turn-based combat, as instead of having either of those systems implemented as you'd expect to see them, Underhero goes for a system whereby you attack and avoid attacks based on enemy signalling and a build-up of stamina. And personally, I found it far more entertaining than a standard turn-based system, and a nice change up from real-time. The characters and story are excellent in this one too, and for £7.69 or $10.49, it might not be the biggest reduction of the sale, but for me it's definitely worth a look. Next up is Rainbow Six Siege, a game that has consistently remained my go-to shooter for the past 3.5 years. This is an FPS game where quick thinking and clever strategies are rewarded as much as quick reflexes and precision aim. And that feeling of outplaying your opponent when you flank an enemy or drone them out and fire through a wall to get the kill is just so rewarding. Team composition is incredibly important too, as you'll need certain operators to pull off strategies, and some operators counter others, so gathering information on your opponent's position and who they're playing as can be the key to winning. Rainbow Six Siege offers a dynamic shooter experience unlike pretty much anything else on the market, and coming in at just £8.49 or $9.99, if you're looking for a shooter to pour hours upon hours into from this Steam sale, Siege is a great pick, especially if you can team up with some friends. On now to Snake Pass, a game that will have you take control of Noodle the Snake, as you maneuver your way around devilish maps using your snake body to wrap around objects as you climb up towards your next objective. Now the controls here are the key feature of this game, and they can take a little bit of getting used to, as slithering back and forth to gain speed or merely getting up a few steps can prove tricky in the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, it's extremely enjoyable traversing the levels. Snake Pass has a great amount of charm too, and coming in at £5.43 or $6.79, I feel it's a good buy, but I would strongly recommend using a controller for this one. What Remains of Edith Finch is next, a touching game in which you'll relive the stories of your ancestors as you explore the old family house. Now, this is very much a story game, and as with some of the other games in this list, I don't want to give too much away. But what I will say is that some of the stories in this game that you'll play through are so creative and so much of an experience that they'll stay with you long after you finish the game, which itself is relatively short. For me, Barbara's story was one of these, but in particular Lewis's story, which was just superb in the way that it was presented. So coming in at just £6.74 or $8.99, I fully recommend you give What Remains of Edith Finch a try. On then to Rise of the Tomb Raider. As I've said before, my favourite of the series since its 2013 reboot. Rise of the Tomb Raider offers stunning graphics, massive set pieces and enjoyable combat, all in a more open feeling game than its predecessor. And with puzzling sections and a solid story to back all of that up, at just £5.99 or $8.99, Rise of the Tomb Raider is a great choice. Next is Yakuza 0, a rough brawler with a serious story about Japanese organised crime. Well, at least on the surface. Dig just a tiny bit deeper and you'll see something very different, as Yakuza 0 is an extremely silly game in the best possible way. From karaoke to taking part in a Miracle Johnson music video, or my own personal favourite, Pocket Circuit Racing, there's so much to do in Yakuza 0, and almost none of it takes itself seriously. The two maps of the game may not be the biggest, but they are crammed with activities, and I found myself sinking hour after hour into the stupidest stuff because it's just pure fun. Yakuza 0 shouldn't be missed, and it's on sale for £7.49 or $9.99. Moving on, we come to Mr. Shifty, a top-down action game that will see you taking out enemies using your teleporting skills as you shift through walls, dodge through bullets, and pop up behind enemies with a nice whack to the back of the head. Mr. Shifty is a game that can feel a little chaotic at times, but often a precise touch is required, or a cool head to warp away at just the right moment, and then get the better of your enemies. And when you finally get through some of the trickier levels of the game, it's a very satisfying feeling. And for £7.25 or $9.89, Mr. Shifty, in my opinion, is a solid buy. Up next is the Jackbox Party Pack 2, a collection of party games to play with friends and family that will have you lying and tricking your way to victory. Now, any of the Jackbox packs would serve you pretty well, but 2 is my favourite as it has 2 of my favourite games on it. In Bidiots, that will see each player create unique pieces of art, and then have a bidding war to see who can make the most profit, with some deceptive little tricks thrown in along the way, and Fibbage 2, which has players come up with answers to questions that sound right, but are actually complete rubbish, all in order to trick their opponents into thinking that theirs is the right answer. So if you're looking for some party game fun from the sale, I'd recommend the Jackbox Party Pack 2 at £7.59 or $9.99. On then to something a little more dark, in the form of Inside, a game with a fantastically sinister atmosphere, as you play as a young boy trying to evade the attentions of the authorities and often just run for his life, in what can feel like terrifying chases and tense evasions. This puzzler will make you question just what the hell is going on as you progress with circumstances getting ever more bizarre in this dystopian world. Inside is on sale for £5.24 or $6.99. And finally for this section we come to XCOM 2, one of the regulars for these lists as it is one of my all-time favourites. XCOM 2 sees you attempting to fight back against the alien force which now occupies Earth. You'll upgrade your base, your troops and your tech in between some of the best turn-based combat on the market. And the best part for me is naming and customizing your soldiers and building their backstories as they go through the war. XCOM 2 takes what was good about XCOM Enemy Unknown and adds to it with new mechanics such as ambushing enemies, which often allows you to take out groups of aliens before they can even fight back. Honestly, I could talk about XCOM 2 for hours, but I'll keep this brief and just say that for £8.74 or $14.99, I think XCOM 2 is an excellent deal. And if you're enjoying it, the expansion pack War of the Chosen is excellent as well, if a little pricey. On to our final section then, and I want to kick things off with Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. And having just talked about XCOM, this felt like the natural next place to come. Mutant Year Zero shares a combat system very similar to that of XCOM, but adds in real-time stealth and setup sections, alongside an intriguing setting as mutants now inhabit the Earth, scavenging and trying to survive. Exploring and finding more powerful equipment and scrap can then set you up for tougher fights, and therefore adds value to the non-combat sections of the game. Now, the natural character development that occurs in XCOM isn't here in Mutant Year Zero. You don't have blank slate soldiers to start with, but it's been replaced with interesting characters in their own right, and an upgrade system to go along with it, making you feel like you are genuinely getting stronger. Mutant Year Zero may borrow a lot from other games, but it has its own unique personality and qualities, and coming in at £17.99 or $20.99, I feel it's worth a look. Next up is the most expensive game on this list as we come to Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy. This remake brings you the 3 original Crash Bandicoot games, but with nice new modern graphics, and they're all the better for it. Mechanically, the game is pretty much unchanged from the originals, and if, like me, these were some of your favourites as a kid, there's a huge amount of nostalgia here to be enjoyed. But even if you don't have that affinity with the series, what the Insane Trilogy offers is, yes, a bit of a throwback, but an immensely fun and challenging one, with plenty of content to keep you going. Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy is on sale for £20.99 or $23.99. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is next, and this is a game that deals with psychological issues as we follow our protagonist Senua on a journey to save the soul of her lover. Senua hears voices in her head haunting her, and this comes across brilliantly in the game, especially if you play with headphones, as the voices whisper in your ear in a genuinely quite creepy way. And back in the game, hallucinations caused by Senua's psychosis cause the world to change around her. And mental health, therefore, is one of the main focuses of the game, but it's paired with excellent storytelling and a solid combat system, alongside stunning graphics, and for £12.49 or $14.99, it's well worth your time. Astroneer is our second to last game for this list, and this space survival and exploration game is one best enjoyed with a friend or two, as you build up your base gathering resources and researching new technologies before jetting off to explore one of the many other planets in the game, each with its own resources and challenges. Now, you'll pretty much always be setting your own goals in this one, but exploring and unlocking each new item in the tech menu and then trying them out makes for a good sense of progression. Now, as I said at the start with this one, for me, playing with a friend is basically a must, otherwise the game can feel a little grindy, a little bit samey. But if you're the type of person who can get lost in a game, exploring and finding everything there is to find, then Astroneer has a lot going for it, and for £17.84 or $22.49, Astroneer might be for you. And finally we come to what is almost a tradition now, as we finish with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Game of the Year Edition. This, in my opinion, is the best game ever made. Its world is packed with interest and content, and the main story and characters are excellent. Graphically, it is still stunning despite now being 4 years old, and if you're looking for a game to sink hundreds of hours into, this could be for you. The Game of the Year edition gets you not only the base game, but also the Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine expansions, which just adds so much more content to an already complete experience. And all for only a couple of pounds more. The Witcher 3 is a game that absolutely should not be missed, and the Game of the Year edition is on sale for just £10.49 or $14.99. So there we are again, another Steam sale. Hopefully you found a few games on this list that tickle your fancy, but of course, as always, if you know of any other great deals, please put them down in the comments to help everyone find the best games for them. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, I'd be very appreciative if you'd click the like button and subscribe for more like this in the future. Anyway, I've been Nathan, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.